Hello everyone. Wanted to do a quick little check-in on our market structure, as well as offer some advice for tomorrow when we have our FOMC interest rate decision. Starting out, before we really get into the charts at all, I want to talk about the kind of trading of FOMC, some things to be aware of and to look out for. So first of all, there will always be a smaller, if not larger, sized liquidity event during these type of releases and conferences. There will be a point as it begins when you see a lot of liquidity pulled from the market. That's why you get those large volatile swings right away. I implore you not to interact with that initial move or even the first two initial moves. Wait until liquidity returns back into the market. Once you get that liquidity returning to the market, the move will generally be quite constructive and the trend will be quite obvious. And if the decision and announcement is better or at expectations, you will most likely see a continued buy program. If the announcement is less than expected or worse than expected, we have a lot of room to the downside as well into some really well-developed past structure. So once again, understand that yes, those volatile moves can be fun, but it really is risky and more of a gambling mindset. The secondary move, once liquidity returns into the market, is a much cleaner trade, much easier to trade as well, and can really still move lots of points and be much more structural. So as we kind of went over that first part, let's get into some structure. So this week we've already seen two kind of full oscillations of last week's range. We did not get a test quite into our lows, but I'm holding above last week's value low at this 51.90 area. This top anywhere above 52.30 should still be respected as sell-side value, and you should still expect to see sellers in this area. Today had a pretty strong buy program after the NVIDIA keynote yesterday. Pretty bearish overall into Globex, but then as we opened up into our New York session, just a buy program all day long. Key areas to watch for today: this 52.30 edge. If you can see, it's our primary edge of our selling node from last week up through 35. So right into this middle zone of that node. Saw some large two-sided trading. People willing to take liquidity on both sides. Both the bid and the ask was offering liquidity, and people were willing to take quite quickly. So be aware of that 5-point range into 30-35. If we do get a bullish move and things are as expected, looking up into all-time highs, 5,300 is kind of your main area of interest here based on last week's extension. There is most likely on our first kind of look up into 70 as well. But all of these upside targets, you should rely on names like the Russell or underlined like Tesla, NVIDIA. Those have been very strong in leading kind of market trends lately to dictate where we're seeing that buy and sell pressure. Rely as well on intraday liquidity being offered on the DOM. See if it can be taken and supported. If we continue to see that bid move up kind of in this no man's land, then you should trade with those participants. Now, on a bearish kind of release, if people are not happy with the decisions, first, you can look back into this 51.90 area where it's been working as a pivot this week, but more importantly, this 51.57 to 51.60 is where your eyes should be. For a sell program and a large order book shift in the market, you're going to want to see a weekly low break. We have not been able to do it in quite a long time, so lots of pressure on this 51.57 for a hold. Beneath that, we do have some node structure into 40 that we can play off of, but you're mainly looking for a break of last week's low and then a trade all the way down through this balance into 50-80, but more preferably 50-60. This is definitely not out of the question on a very poorly received report. So that's going to be your main look for a downside target. Let's really quick just run through our levels again, really quick and dirty. So we know looking up, 5300 is of interest. In this node, this 5030 to 5035 is an area of contention, two-sided trading occurring. Our bottom of weekly range and last week's into 5190 can be relied upon for participants. Then your next area is this 5160, more specifically 5157. Below that, 5140, and then ultimately a look down into 5060. Now understand, with this balance node below, there are potentials for some chops and look back up and then see the full oscillation. This will most likely not happen in a 45-degree angle down if it does occur. So yeah, that's kind of your look through for the week. Enjoy FOMC and trade safe, guys.